So, hello everybody. Hello. Real quick, I want to talk about something. Something I was just thinking about. And how most people have talked about food and eating the right foods, and I'm not against that at all. I believe in eating certain things in moderation. I don't believe in being what you would call a health nut. I believe in eating certain things in moderation. Like I eat what I want in moderation. Because truth be told, people talk about certain things being recalled. Do you know I've heard strawberries being recalled? Now they messing with the ground. Something's going on with the water. So I'm not gonna really get into all this stuff about what and what not to eat. I just eat what I want to in moderation, and I make sure I don't overindulge in anything. But I want to talk about how most of the conversations, especially about being higher in vibration, and stuff like that, is eating certain kind of foods, eating the right foods, and not eating a bunch of meats. I'm not going to disagree with that. I can't eat a lot of meat, but that's for other different reasons. I feel like I don't, go to the bathroom as much as I would like to when I eat too much meat. I honestly can't eat it too much. Very little a day. If I eat it every day, it has to be very little. But anyway, my point is I rarely hear folks talk about how being around people, situations, stressful situations, a lot of times, let me just say people, sometimes a stressful situation might not last forever. In many cases, hopefully it don't last forever. But people are worse than food. And I'm not trying to dog out people, but when a lot of times when we're dealing with a lot of stuff going on in our shadow, you're going to see something that's going on from childhood. It's probably something going on at your job every day. Somebody always trying to antagonize you. Stuff going on in your family where you might have family members trying to antagonize you. Some people don't have family members where they only call them when they want something because they see you as a person with all the money, or whatever. So, people are never really told to take care of their bodies in that sense. Because a lot of times when things go on physically, me being a healthcare professional, I would always hear, well, I eat right, I do this and I do that, I don't hardly drink. See, because people think it's all about what you put in your mouth and not what you're taking in energetically. People talk about the meats. Don't eat the meat because you never know the spirit that was on that particular, the way that the way the cow was killed, the way the spirit is left, the spirit of the torment or the what you call it, the fear of that cow is on that meat or whatever the spirit is on there, and so don't eat it. But you gotta understand in the false matrix, you are almost vulnerable to just about anything in the false matrix. In the Patrix. When I say false matrix, I mean a Patrix. Okay, I mean a Patrix because the real matrix is about the great mother. Okay, it's a great mother. And in this false matrix, the Patrix, they want to remove the feminine principle. Okay, but anyway, um, yeah. So nobody really talks about that. Like if you eat burgers and fries, and you decide to give your body a break and detox, you can always take something. You can go and get one of those colonics or whatever, and you can detox all that stuff out, and you're clean. It's not bothering you emotionally. I know it's a saying that the reason people eat that stuff is because some emotional stuff, but the vegetarians and vegans might go through emotional things too. So my point is that what's going on emotionally, dealing with people who stress you out, dealing with situations that stress you out, constantly going into a hostile environment, even if it's family, even if it's a marriage, even if it's a friendship, that is hurting your body more than food is. You understand? Because you have a choice with food. It's like a lot of times, sometimes we want to eat what we want to eat, but you have a choice. Some situations, sometimes, especially when it's a job or something, sometimes you feel like you don't really have the options that you want, and you kind of have to. You almost feel. You feel. I'm gonna say you feel. I don't want to say you are. I'm gonna say you feel. And I'm gonna say the same thing for me, because the feeling that way is kind of like a mental block. It's really kind of a mental block, because the reason why I say it's a mental block is because it's billions and zillions of possibilities. We're inside of a computer system. Okay, I saw what it looked like, CERN, and it looked like it's been there thousands of years too. Okay, when I came out of it, so I don't know how I did it, but I came out of it. So when I come out of like literally the whole system, it's like I didn't just come out the matrix, I came out the whole computer system and into the actual real world outside of this whole matrix. My spirit did that. I saw that in the spirit. Not my astral body. My astral body is part of the whole computer system. It's fake too. Okay? So I came out, and what I saw when I came out looks exactly like CERN looks at the top. Like you look at the top of it, it's like a cross or something. Like if you know the Alabama flag, the Alabama cross, and you look at the top of how CERN looks. I actually saw a guy whose YouTube page I used to look at, and he talked about CERN, and he had a comparison to the Alabama flag. So that's why I'm saying Alabama flag. And anyway, and that's exactly what I saw, but it was covered in it was covered in grass. This looked like it's been there for thousands of years, and it's buried underground, but it's buried underground in the real world. I'm talking about the real world that was actually probably destroyed. That's probably lying in ruins, honestly. The real world that's lying in ruins, not the organic matrix. The organic matrix, honestly, is still inside that computer. So yeah, this is a false matrix where we fell in frequency. But you rise in frequency, you're still in a supercomputer, even though you're high in frequency, and you get to rise more. But my spirit actually came outside of that doggone thing, so I was on a real planet. I don't even know if it's called a planet, because we call it a planet inside this computer in English. But anyway, so I don't know what you would call something like that outside of that computer. Okay, that's like a real, that's something that's actually real. And it might take certain individuals to come out of it, because I'm not just, anybody. Okay, I have an avatar. I recognize this is an avatar I have, and I need to stop attaching so much to it. With the stuff I'm dealing with, I need to stop attaching so much to this avatar. Okay, because I'm treating it like it's real. I'm literally like a character in a computer game. It's like, you try to make certain things stop happening to your body. It's like, wait a minute, but my body ain't real, and I'm using my ego to do it, and the ego is not real. So now I got to detach from this body, because the body's not doing anything. Honestly, the body is not the one that's feeling anything. Okay, but getting back to the point. I always would hear about people telling you to eat healthy, eat healthy, eat healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. I honestly understand that. But the main thing I feel like needs to be the main message is to get away from people who don't mean you any good. Let me say it like that. It's best to, as much as you can, get away from people. Get away from people who want to antagonize you. People who just don't mean you no good. People who are just low down. People who will stab you in the back, and you know they're going to stab you in the back. And I'm going to preach this to myself too. You know they're going to stab you in the back, but because they seem so nice in person, you keep dealing with them until your ass dead somewhere. Then it's going to be too late, because you already knew. And honestly, I've been through these kind of situations too many times not to take heed. So, at this point, people are going to have to judge me. If I don't want to deal with a certain person or go a certain place, because I already seen like a month ago how this person was, they're going to just have to judge me for it. That's what they did with, I know this is a fake story probably, but Kenneka Jenkins. And I'm saying it's fake in a sense and how they told it. Because there was an actual person that did die, and I saw what she actually looked like. And a lot of them videos that they kept showing, that's not the real Kenneka Jenkins. But there was an actual girl who died. Okay, there was an actual girl who died. She was wearing the same kind of jeans in that freezer that I saw in a picture of the real Kenneka Jenkins, which is not too many of those pictures going around. Because the other ones, all them other little stuff we kept seeing that were fake. A girl taking a picture in the classroom and something like that was fake. The one that was in a bathroom with her friend, that was fake. But it's one that's laying on the floor. And just looking at her from the backside, she looks like the exact one of the real Kenneka Jenkins. So they showed the real person laying dead. But I think. But anyway, the point is, I brought up Kenneka Jenkins because she did not want to go to that whatever party. That's what the narrative was. Initially, she did not want to go. She didn't want to go. Something told her intuitively she felt like she probably should not go. Okay? That's the feeling I get. Intuitively, she felt like she probably should not go to that party. But you got people that want to gaslight you and make you feel bad, and knowing they got bad intentions, and even if they don't have bad intentions, you know it's not going to be a good idea for you to go because they don't freaking get it, because they are dead, because a lot of people are spiritually dead, and I don't mean that as a judgment. It's just what it is. I'm not going to be forced to doing something that could be a dangerous situation because you're spiritually dead. I'm not going to do it. Too many people force you to be in situations where the spirit, where your intuition already told you this is not going to work out. You don't have dreams about it. See, how many times do you have dreams about not eating a burger? How many times do you have dreams, and I don't eat a bunch of burgers. I'm not defending burgers. My point is I don't hear people, when it comes to keeping your body healthy, I don't hear people talking about this part. This is the part that's killing the most people. Okay, being around the wrong folks. Being around people who want to make you feel bad. Being around folks who stress you out all the time. You got to keep ignoring their antics, but sometimes it's hard to get away from certain people, and you can't just ignore them because you're in a position where you have to talk to them. And if they want to act like a fool, then you're going to be in a battle with them. And it's unnecessary because they just feel like being assholes, and it's unnecessary to have to be in battle with these folks, but they don't have nothing better to do with themselves. And you know what? I'm at the point where I don't value people like that. I don't care what happens to them, and I know maybe it sounds bad, but I don't care. I don't value folks like that. They can't think of a reason why they are antagonizing you. They can't even think of the reason why. So I don't value them. I will do whatever's necessary to get them out my way. If I have to, like, I'm not going to run under a rock because you exist. You're going to get the fuck out my way. I don't want to run. Oh, well, just stay away. No, that bitch is leaving. Bitch meaning female or male. No. Oh, but just stay away. No. Stop telling people to run away from folks and let people stay the assholes they are. Like, you keep making room for the assholes. It's like rapists or whoever, criminals, whatever you call them. Well, just be careful out there. Get in by 6 o'clock. No, motherfucker. Get them motherfuckers off the street. Do some fucking spiritual work and get that fucking energy away. No. Why everybody got to keep running under a fucking rock and go hide somewhere at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because motherfucking criminals and rapists and bullshit like you keep allowing them. You keep allowing them to run rampant. I realize the reason why this shit keep getting worse and worse and worse because I think folks keep complying with the bullshit. No. And if I do need to go somewhere temporarily, it's because I need to work on the skills to move everybody out the motherfucking way that need to be moved. Like, you don't get to keep staying in my way. I'm not going to, unless Spirit tell me, I'm not going to move 3,000, 4,000 miles away somewhere else. And now, this is a special situation, but with everything going on, I guess, because I'm not keeping up with it. I don't want to keep up with it because that's their narrative. So I don't want to keep up with somebody else's narratives. But because I'd rather pay attention to Spirit. Let the Spirit give me the fucking narrative. I don't want everybody else's fucking narratives. Okay? But anyway, yeah. I guess in this situation with a lot of things that's supposedly going on, I guess people say, girl, get up and go. How you going to tell folks that still got bills to pay, get up and go out to the country? So leave your job, figure out how you're going to get some money. Well, they can't do that. They depend on the job for so long. A lot of folks can't do that. Do you understand it? Everybody don't have the skills to start. Everybody cannot start their own business. Everybody cannot start. Everybody don't know where to start. You got a lot of people that have their own business. Everybody can't have their own business. It's a lot of people that don't know where to start. They don't know what they're good at. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff. You just can't say, we pack up and go to the country. And if you go to the country, it's going to be the city, and the city's going to be the country, and then the country is going to be a problem. Like, if everybody goes to the country's going to be the fucking city. Okay? Go to Africa, go to wherever, go to Costa Rica, go to wherever. But it's something happening everywhere. The New World Order is happening everywhere. So if you go to them places, you got to pick a specific place to go to, because I follow content creators in on YouTube. I follow content creators that's from Africa, and they say a lot of shit about Africa. Okay, so if you go into these places trying to get out the United States, you got to know where you're going, because the New World Order is going to be everywhere. And I don't like being in what you would call a third world country where their governments are not even strong. Like, I don't want to. So if you decide to go somewhere, it's best to go somewhere where the consciousness is high, where it's too high for the bullshit. Somewhere like Tibet, it don't have to be Tibet. I'm just describing the kind of consciousness with a high consciousness. You gotta go, because you can't just let's relocate over there to be quiet. But the New World Order is going to be everywhere, so you better make sure that you're either in the place that has high consciousness, where that stuff can't penetrate it, because the consciousness is so high that it's a shield that's already created that they can't come in, they can't penetrate it. And then you got to raise your consciousness in order to even know something, have a conscious about it, to know about it. You have to somewhat have your consciousness raised. But just going anywhere, just like physically, let me go here. Well, but if their government isn't strong, they're going to be controlled by United States and China and Russia and the Nazis. They're going to be controlled by that. You're not going to be safe. But anyway, that's not what I started off talking about. What I started off talking about, though, is, what the people are trying to warn folks right now, and what they saying of being healthy and putting money aside and eating right. But the most thing people got to do is stay out of stressful situations as long as possible. And I'm saying that because when it comes to getting into your light body, I'm talking about even you gotta these people that want to throw this black magic, all this witchcraft. Well, it's a way to take care of that. But they asses need to be taken out. There's no more patience for these people. They don't. What is the reason they're doing it? Why are they doing this? I don't have patience for these people that call themselves want to sacrifice somebody else, because in some cases I've seen as a regular person. In some cases I've seen where people have joined organizations because they felt like they was going to get in a lot more doors, and because they sold their soul to whatever they call themselves doing, they wanted to take another soul out so they don't have to lose their soul. I've seen this as a regular person. I've experienced this. This is what I've been dealing with. Somebody who joined these fucking organizations, and so in order for them not to lose their soul, they got to go sacrifice somebody else, and this is the shit I've been dealing with. Okay? I don't have time. I don't love them. Actually, I'm not even going to hate them. I don't want to have any emotion for them. But I have nothing for them. I have nothing for these kind of folks at all. I have nothing for people who just don't have nothing better to do but antagonize you. Why are you doing it? Why can't you find anything decent to say out your mouth? There was a saying, if you can't find nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And it's not the truth. It's what you think your truth is, but it ain't the fucking truth, because I have a whole lot of truth about your ass too that you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear it. See, a lot of things about people that tell the truth, they always say they speaking truth. They don't like it when the truth is spoken back to their ass. I noticed that. They get a little sensitive when the truth is spoken back to them. So they ain't speaking truth. They need to shut up. They need to shut up, because they ditch out a whole lot of stuff that they cannot take. They ain't speaking truth. They being an asshole. That's a difference. Because the same way you see some truth and you talking about somebody else what you see, I see a whole lot of shit with you too, and I can say 20 times more than what you just said to me. But guess what? When you decide to say something back to their ass, they gonna say you being defensive. Oh, why you being defensive? Why can't you defend yourself? Oh, they just supposed to sit there and say whatever the hell they want to say, and you ain't supposed to defend yourself. See, I don't have love for people like that anymore, and I don't even deal with folks like that. I've dealt with it before, but because I decided to disconnect from my family, I don't even deal with that, but I do deal with certain folks because I'm right now I'm working. I have like maybe 5 weeks left to work at a particular place. So I only planned on being there temporarily anyway, just to get things back right, or just to get a boost. Let me say, just to get a boost, you know, and then go back to doing what I want to do. That's way, way less stressful. And you know what? The only thing that makes this particular, I say, job stressful, it's not the actual work. It's the actual person that's the supervisor. She can't even give you a reason why she wants to be an ass. Okay, you dealing with patients. Like you don't even care about the patients. You just dead set on being an asshole. And I don't have no. And even if I'm not there anymore, I want to make sure. Well, I don't want to, but I don't want to put my energy on them. But every single day I go to this person, I always make sure everything is returned back to them every single day. They better hope they don't die anytime soon because I keep sending everything back to them, and eventually they're gonna die. But that's their fault. Either they're gonna die or they're gonna lose a family member. But this person, I believe, is gonna die. Okay, they're gonna die. But they're dying in their own shit because they want to throw their burdens on everybody else. They want to put their baggage on somebody else. Because let me tell you something. When you ever dealing with somebody who wants to stress you out like that, antagonize you, just want to, it's almost like that's a parasite. That's a parasite. They don't have any reason to want to bother you. That is a parasite. It's like they need your energy. Those are vampires. Those are energy vampires. And it's not even like they need your energy. It's almost like but they are taking a piece of your life force. When they do things and they want to stress you out, they want to just mess with your head. It's almost like they're taking a piece of your life force away from you. And then they constantly do it to the point where you're just almost mentally disturbed to be around them. Like you're almost mentally disturbed to be around them. And it's like at this time, it's like if you're in a situation where okay, you just need to give it another month or whatever, but this motherfucker don't want to back off. Well, you first of all you just work on being calm, but they need work done on them. I'm just gonna say it plain and simple. They need some shit done to them because they done crossed you. I don't feel like people are protected when they don't cross you. I think we think they're protected because it's a lot that we don't know. I think it's a lack of knowledge that we think motherfuckers like that are so protected. It's a lack of knowledge. I get that this is the false matrix, so a false matrix does make it a hell. But it gets worse and worse because people keep just going looking over shit. It gets worse and worse because people just keep being complacent with everything, and so that's why it keeps getting worse. But people like that need work done on them, and I don't mean it in a way to I don't mess with too much baneful stuff. As it like, oh, well, I want them to lose their job and I want them to lose their family. I don't do stuff like that. Now I'm not going to be thinking of what I want to happen to them. I just want to say I don't have to move. There's nothing wrong with this particular job. It's actually a good job. I actually do well with the patients. Patients get better. I'm actually helping out the patients. There's nothing wrong with this job. There's something wrong with this person. So I don't need to fucking leave right now if I don't want to, or if the spirit don't have me leaving. I don't have to fucking leave. There's nothing wrong with the damn job. It's something wrong with this motherfucker. Okay? So they need to move. People like that, it's time for them to be moved. They can be moved. They can be moved. People just can say, oh, well, that's just how it is. No, well, people have a right to stay complacent and just deal with the shit if they want to. I'm not trying to change the world, but if you get in my way, you got to be moved. That's it. I'm not going to run down under a rock. Well, they're here, so let me go all the way. Let me go across the street because they're here. Let me go on the other side. Well, you know how you do that when you see some troublemakers? You go across the street because they look like they're going to cause some trouble. But see, that's constantly an inconvenience. That is constantly an inconvenience. It's time to move that energy. I don't care if they're danger. I was looking at, and I'm not a Christian. I was at the time I looked at it because this was like maybe 15, 16 years ago. So I was at the time I was looking at Bill Winston, and I realized he's a prosperity, but I'm not trying to judge nobody. I'm about to say a specific situation. Okay. Uh, he talked about it was some people in this church, some members of his church, that was living in the neighborhood that used to be nice. It was quiet. It's all that kind of stuff. Just quiet. Regular houses, but a quiet, nice neighborhood, okay? And then all of a sudden, these gangbangers started moving into the neighborhood. I guess some of these grandmothers and mothers, a lot of grandmothers take their children in and these grandchildren in, and they grow up to be fucking hellions. Because the grandmother too old to be raising these doggone kids. I don't know. Anytime you have an area like that used to be quiet, or else they don't turn a lot of them houses into a lot of those houses into what you call it, those low income houses. I have some people that I know that's in those low income houses, and with that comes a lot of problems. It's like a certain mentality comes with those kind of housing. It's unfortunate because it's really good people and that would benefit from those houses, but it seems like with the low income, even though it seems pretty good, it's nice for people who need it. It brings in crime. It seems to bring in a certain type of mindset, and it brings in a certain type of mind. Let me say, with brown people in the United States of America, it brings in a certain type of mindset. Because elderly people can have that same, but they're elderly. But what I'm saying is, it brings certain cultures. It is a certain mindset to come with that. But anyway, what I was gonna say is Bill Winston, and it was certain members of the church that was living in this quiet neighborhood. And they said all these gangbangers just start moving in and they keeping up trouble in the neighborhood and they selling doggone drugs on the doggone corners and stuff like that. And we don't want that in our neighborhood. They can't just get up and move nowhere. Why are people always told to get up and go move? People don't always have money to get up and go move. Why can't you do some work? Do some fucking spiritual work and get their asses out the way. And I'm saying as just a general statement for speaking for people who just can't get up and go. I don't always have the money if I see some trouble. Oh, let me go over here. And I'll go over there, I see some trouble. Oh, let me go over here. That motherfuckers get their asses out the way. So Bill Winston, I guess, told them what to do, and maybe he joined them. I don't know. So I don't know. They circled that doggone neighborhood. I don't know what they were pouring some kind of oil on the ground. I don't know what they did. They were doing some prayers. They was doing some chanting. I don't know what the heck they did, but whatever they did, those gangbangers weren't there no more. So that's the moral of the doggone story. You don't always have to go running. Unless Spirit is telling you to go somewhere else, you ain't always got to get up and go to get away from certain, because that's why those kind of people keep running the world like that. That's why those kind of people are in so much control like that. Because we just, and I'm saying we, just speaking in general, people just in general. Just okay, well that's how it is. So let me just, this about to happen right here. So let me just set my little reality so it don't. It's like, I don't know, it's like keep making room for them. Like whatever they're about to do, if you're going to live in the United States of America, and when I say they, I'm talking about whoever the powers that be, because I'm not sure who they are. Whatever they're about to do, you're not going to save up enough. You might only survive for maybe 2 to 5 years. But honestly, they're probably going to go around. If it's going to be as bad as some people like to hold on to the narrative that it might be, they might come and take you up out your house. They might not want to have anybody have any freedom, because when you get to that kind of situation like that, they don't want you to have freedom. And then it's going to be a new world order. So I don't know how long it's going to be before it's everywhere, but that's going to be a new world order. So you got to have other things going on besides, let me just doing things physically. So yeah, I just kind of got on different topics too. But yeah, the main one I started off talking about was, all this talk about eating healthy and keeping your body healthy, and that's all good. But at the same time, what hurts your body the most and what keeps you the most dense and what messes with your energy the most. Metaphysically, what bothers you people the most they don't get is dealing with other people. That's what's, I guess, spiritually hurting them the most. It's dealing with other people. A lot of shit that I'm going on right now, it's not because of food. It's not because of the junk food I used to eat. Even though I don't eat a bunch of it now. But the shit I'm dealing with right now, it's not because of the junk food I used to eat. It's because of a doggone person. It's because of a person who felt like they want to join the organization, and they don't want to lose their soul, so they don't want to mess with somebody else's soul. And this has been going on with my family. This is the shit that I have been dealing with even when I was the age of 5 with my doggone mother and brother. I don't call them that no more, but my mother and brother, they were part of this same organization. Okay, and they wanted their riches, and they felt like they had to find somebody to sacrifice, and I was chosen. So the hamburgers ain't what's messing me up. The hamburgers ain't what's keeping me dense. The hamburgers ain't it's not what's stopping me from the words you call ascension. The hamburgers and French fries ain't stopping that. People keep talking about eat healthy. No, these motherfuckers trying to fuck with your souls. You need to get rid of. You know what? I would rather eat a burger 3 days in a row than deal with certain motherfuckers. They are dangerous. A lot of people have to fight for their soul because of fucking people, and not, I would say Big Macs, but I don't like McDonald's. Because McDonald's is what it is because of a lot of blood sacrifices, and I already seen that for myself. I've seen it for myself. McDonald's is what they are, maybe Burger King, because of blood sacrifices, so I can't fuck with that. It's easy to keep going because you don't feel like it's you, but when you see you're the one that sacrificed for this company to be as successful as it is, then you're not going to want to fuck with no more because now it's you. It's always easy when it's somebody else. But see, that's Babylon for you too. Because when we go in Walmart and when we go in Target and we really go in all these big stores and shop that we like, it's not just McDonald's. It's a lot of places we go to. Target, McDonald's, all these other places that could be used as concentration camps. Okay? Walmart is the big one. So I do believe it's best to start participating with these folks that these companies got big up for blood sacrifices, including Disney. But I don't go to Walt Disney World anyway. I'm grown. I don't have kids or whatever. But I think it's time to start participating with individuals in these companies that I already know. I'm shopping there for what I need, but I know they got where they are because of blood sacrifices. This world, these companies, the United States cannot have what they have without blood sacrifice. And that's a grocery stores, whatever. Whatever it is. So, anyway, yeah. And so that's what's keeping you dense. It's not the food. You have fourth dimensional entities that want to make sure you stay low in consciousness, and that if they see anybody rising up in consciousness, they're able to monitor consciousness, because that's pretty much what you are. Your frequency, your consciousness, and they're able to, if they're keeping certain people at a hive mind, and they see these 1 or 2 spikes coming up, they're going to come after you. They can see it. Okay, they can see what you can't see. Because they're not using their physical eyes. Okay? So that is what's hurting people right there. It's not just the burgers and fries. That's the shit that's hurting folks. And then the other shit that's hurting folks is being around fucking people. Whether it's on your job, motherfuckers want to antagonize you. Or you can be staying in the neighborhood with motherfuckers shooting and doing drugs, so you gotta make sure no bullets come through your doggone window and you can't afford to just leave out right away. That's the shit right there. And I realize people eat stuff that's unhealthy, but I know that. But the point I'm making is I don't really hear anybody touch on this part of it. This is the shit that's keeping people the most dense. The biggest problem I've been having is not food. It's because of a lot of evil witchery. A lot of evil witchery. Because they're part of these organizations. Okay? It's not just somebody who got mad at me. Oh, I'm mad at you. No. They're part of these organizations, and they get a certain amount of money for whatever they're about to do. And so it's not about somebody who just don't like you. Okay? So people is and they purposely, let me tell you something, they're purposely doing things to keep me from this word called ascension. And I'm going to say this word called ascension. But they actually know what they're doing. They're purposely trying to keep me from rising up. So it's not the burgers that's doing it, it's the fucking people. people are, you know what, because if you get the fuck away from people and you get your head right, get a chance to get your head right and get from this crazy ass consciousness, you gonna automatically eat healthy anyway, because you ain't gotta deal with the craziness. Now you have a chance to actually rise up the way you're supposed to, because motherfuckers ain't stressing you out no more. And I'm not even talking about people that you actually see stressing you out. It's people that you don't see to stress you out because they able to do stuff in the spiritual realm. It's a lot of spiritual bullies. Let me say it like that. There are a lot of spiritual bullies. If they just don't exist anymore, honestly, you probably wouldn't even have a taste for the junk food. You'd probably be rising up so much higher because they ass is gone, and that you probably gonna eat healthy anyway. Because you're going to just automatically rise up higher with all this other crazy shit down. It's the consciousness of people that's holding shit down. People don't want to believe everything they say on the news and go along with whatever they say. It's the consciousness that's keeping you dense. If you are in a mass consciousness of people who believe whatever they say or whatever they hear on the doggone news, I don't care. A lot of those people that believe everything they hear on the news, you know they eat healthy, right? A lot of people who believe whatever they hear on the news, they believe whatever they hear on the news, they take whatever they got to take in their body because somebody told them to do it. But they eat healthy. They ain't eating all that junk food like that. But you know what? Their consciousness is still low. Now, I'm not going to judge them. But their consciousness is still low. And when you're in a consciousness like that, a mass consciousness, and this could be white, black, or whatever. When you're in a mass consciousness of low vibration, low consciousness, that's what's holding you down. That's holding you down more than the food. Because when you eat food, you can detox that. That can come straight out your doggone body. But when you're living under a consciousness, a mass consciousness that's real low like that, they believe whatever they told, or then you're under a consciousness where there's a lot of crime and stuff like that, that's what's keeping you dense more than the food. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of times you eat junk food like that, it's because you're in a low consciousness. A lot of people, when they go to an area where the consciousness is much higher and they ended up rising themselves, they actually start eating healthy. So what's keeping them like that, even the food, is that they're in a collective low consciousness. Basically. And it's not that they don't need to take individual responsibility, but then you got to look at, it's more, people. It's a lot that's left out when people talk about just eat healthy, eat healthy. That's good. That's good advice, but you got to get out of a low consciousness. You got to get out of that, especially right now. It's too hard to try to rise up with the mass collective consciousness that's low, that does anything they can, that believe anything possible. It's hard to rise up like that. It's hard to rise up to where you're supposed to be like that. Okay? Especially when you kind of just getting started, maybe you just need a month off, need a month to get away from that kind of consciousness and go to somewhere where it's a little higher. It could be even Costa Rica. Honestly, don't have to be that far. It can be Costa Rica. It depends on where you are. Certain parts of Jamaica are like that. Certain parts of the world. Just go visit that kind of area for 2 weeks and you will see the difference. You will see the difference in yourself. You'll see the difference in your body. Okay? So anyway, I'll talk later.